Development Authority meeting. This is a special meeting. We had to adjust our meeting schedule because last Tuesday was Veterans Day. I'm going to go ahead and read to you the call of this special meeting. Honorable Commissioners of the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority, Virginia Beach, Virginia, special meeting November 18th, 2025. Dear Commissioners, pursuant to the bylaws of the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority, dated December 19th, 2023, I hereby call a special meeting of the authority for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. This special meeting will be held in the authority's boardroom located at 4525 Main Street, Suite 700, Virginia Beach, Virginia. The attached agenda sets forth the business of the authority to be discussed at the special meeting. The authority's regular meeting for the month of November was canceled due to the Veterans Day holiday. This special meeting will be broadcast on cable TV and www.vbgov.com. Citizens are encouraged to submit their comments to the authority prior to the special meeting via email at njames@vbgov.com. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is public comment, period. Natasha, did anybody? Okay. We will now review and approve our meeting minutes for the October 14th meeting. Any comments from anyone on the meeting minutes? Got a motion from Mr. Brunke?
Second.
Second from Penny Morgan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next item we have is a resolution recognizing one of our former Development Authority members. I know I saw him. He's got to be standing behind me. All right, Taylor, if you will come up.
You stand?
Yeah.
All right.
If you would, that would be wonderful.
Is that right next to you?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Does everybody know Taylor Franklin? Formerly a member. So this is a resolution of the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority to W. Taylor Franklin. Whereas the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, was created to serve certain purposes, among which are those of promoting industry and developing trade by inducing manufacturing, industrial, governmental, and commercial enterprises to locate or remain in the Commonwealth of Virginia by assisting in the acquisition, construction, equipping, enlargement, and improvement of commercial facilities. And whereas W. Taylor Franklin was appointed to the authority on September 1, 2018, and served for 7 years and 1 month with distinction until October 1st, 2025. And whereas during his tenure, W. Taylor Franklin served as Assistant Secretary from September 15, 2020 to September 19, 2023, when he assumed the role of Vice Chair. Whereas during his tenure, Virginia Beach experienced unprecedented growth, expansion, and prosperity. And whereas this commercial growth has led to the increase in jobs for the citizens of both the City of Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads. And whereas this commercial growth has provided revenue to support many services necessary to a young, thriving community. Whereas the support of dedicated citizens such as W. Taylor Franklin has made Virginia Beach a better place to live, work, and recreate. And now, therefore, we, the City of Virginia Beach Development Authority, hereby recognize the invaluable service and contributions made by W. Taylor Franklin to the betterment of the citizens of Virginia Beach. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia, to be affixed hereto this 14th day of October in the year of our Lord, 2025. So I'll give you the resolution. And for those of you who don't know, Taylor just received the RISE Award from Virginia-based JCs for his contributions to both economic development and philanthropy. And I thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, a lovely picture to frame in your office
Thank you.
or bring home.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, very quickly, this was a really great organization to join. Virginia Beach is lucky to have all of you in this position. I think this is the strongest EDA board I've seen, and really excited to see what you guys do in the future. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for the opportunity to serve. So,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay, all right, let's turn it like that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
More than council members.
All right.
Think of Jefferson Cup.
The next item is our financials. We'll receive an annual financial report from Terry Becker.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me here to present the results of the audit of the Virginia Beach Development Authority. My name is Laura Harden. I am the engagement director who oversaw the audit of the authority. I ultimately take responsibility for our issued audit opinion. We also had a team of a manager, staff, and senior who worked on our audit, as well as a independent second reviewer within our firm who comes in at the end of our audit and performs a quality control review. First, I'll go over the results of the audit. So we did audit the financial statements of the authority as of and for the year ended June 30, 2025. We issued our audit opinion yesterday, November 17, 2025. We issued what is called an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. That is the best opinion you can receive as a result of your audit and is considered to be a clean audit opinion. We also perform audits under both government auditing standards as well as the Auditor of Public Accounts specifications for authorities, boards, and commissions. We identified no non-compliance under those standards or specifications. We are also required to gain an understanding of the internal control environment of the authority to help us plan and perform our audit. If we identified any control deficiencies during our audit process, we would be required to report those to you. I'm pleased to tell you we did not have anything that we consider to be a material weakness in internal control over financial reporting. During our audit process, we can also discover misstatements that are either corrected or left uncorrected by management. We noted no such items during our audit process this year. Management is responsible for the selection and use of appropriate accounting policies. Those policies are described in Note 1 of the financial statements. There were no new accounting policies that were adopted this year, and we noted no inappropriate accounting policies or practices. We are also required to gain an understanding of the related party transactions within the organization, and we had no issues in identifying those. We noted none that appeared to lack a business purpose or resulted in any type of non-compliance with laws or regulations. During the audit, there could also be things that are considered to be significant or unusual transactions. Those would be things that are outside of the normal course of business for the authority. We identified no such items during our audit. We are also required to gain an understanding of the significant estimates. These are things that can change year over year based on the underlying assumptions that go into making those estimates. The most significant is management's estimate of the land held for resale, which is based on acquisition costs plus improvements. The financial statement disclosures are neutral, consistent, and clear. We do not perform any non-attest services for the authority. We are independent of the authority, and we have met our relevant ethical requirements. We did not have any difficulties in completing our audit or any kind of disagreements with management. We didn't have to consult with anybody outside of our engagement team for any matters that are contentious. We had management sign a representation letter yesterday, which represented to us that they provided us all the information that we needed to complete our audit and provide our opinion. We are not aware where management consulted with another accounting firm for any type of opinion shopping. We also had no other findings or issues that are required to be reported to you, and we did not identify any fraud, waste, or abuse as a result of our audit process, nor do we have any going concern matters to report. This just notes that there are some additional sections within the financial statements. The first is the required supplementary information. This is information that is required by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. We do not provide an opinion on that. However, we do review that information to determine that it's materially consistent with the basic financials. We provide in relation to opinion on the supplementary information, and then the other information within the financial statements is unaudited as well. There are a couple of upcoming financial reporting changes for fiscal year 2026. The first is GASB statement number 103, financial reporting model improvements. This will just change some of the reporting within the financial statements. And then GASB statement number 104 is disclosure of certain capital assets. We're not expecting any significant changes as a result of that standard. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Laura. Anybody have any questions for Laura? No? Bill's usually the one that has the technical accounting questions.
This is fairly straightforward, no issues were identified,
No.
so everything looks good.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a review of our financial statements for October 2025. Howie.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the VBDA, Councilman and Vice Mayor. I will be going over the monthly cash flows and financial activity for October. For the operating cash account, on October 1st, we had a beginning cash balance of $7,611,894. During the month of October, we received just under $22,000 for the quarterly Atlantic Park Entertainment Venue revenue share from Live Nation. This is just the operating portion. We also received a capital maintenance portion, but this covered the period of July through September. We had $10,788 in interest income, and then cash disbursements for the month. We had $18,000. This was for the billings 1 through 3 of the fiscal year 2025 audit that you just heard about. That was paid to Cherry Beckert. We had $13,000 for the Atlantic Park offsite infrastructure asset construction and inspections through September 30th. That was paid to MVP. And then we had $7,398 for legal services for the Atlantic Park project. This was for through the period of August 31st, and that was paid to Davis Commercial Law. That leaves us with an ending cash balance on October 31st of $7,581,234. And then also for the operating account, we had these expenses were paid by the VBDA at the beginning of October, and then they were refunded through the city's CIP. So it ended up, being a zero effect on cash for the month. But we had 2 Atlantic Park expenses. The first was just over $400,000 for the draw number 32 offsite infrastructure. That was paid to Venture Waves. And then we also had Atlantic Park Entertainment Venue construction monitoring. That was paid to VHB for $18,389. One expense for Innovation Park. This was draw request number 23 for offsite construction work through August 31st, 2025. That was paid to Architectural Graphics for $755,122. And then just over $350,000. This was for Corporate Landing Business Park, and it was draw request number 7 for offsite infrastructure and utility construction. That was paid to Seabreezy. Also for Corporate Landing, we had the Global Way and Pond C final construction for $4,153. That was paid to VHB. And then related to the Virginia Beach Amphitheater, we paid VHB again for parking lot improvement plan, and that was $2,168. For the capital maintenance accounts, we have the Human Resources or Human Services building. We received the monthly lease payment for November. That was $47,910. Expenses, we had building roof and cooling tower replacement through September 30th. That was paid to HBA Architecture for $13,654. And then we had elevator modernization, also paid to HBA Architecture, and that was for $20,271. We received, as I mentioned, we also received a capital maintenance portion of the quarterly revenue share for the Atlantic Park Entertainment Venue, also covering the period of July through September. We received $1 for this capital maintenance fund. $1 was received for each ticket sold, and for that period, the amount received was $43,938, and that increases our balance in that account to $70,158. The final capital maintenance account is for the VB National Golf Course. We had the monthly revenue share agreement. We received the September payment in October of $25,695. Then we had expenses for the HVAC replacement, construction phase, paid to Adrian Builders Group for $80,922. And we had payment for Pond 1 maintenance plan. This was paid to VHB for $2,822. And that leaves us with an ending cash balance for that account of $1,816,772. Then we have the incentive and initiative account. The first of those accounts is the facade improvement grant. During October, we paid Lakeshore Property for parking lot improvements of $5,500. And then we paid Esoteric to install new awning and landscaping improvements of $3,517, and that leaves us with an ending cash balance of $57,152. For the small business grant, we made a reimbursement for expenses of glass windows, keyless entry, and plumbing repairs to First Class Beauty Suites of $10,000, and we made a reimbursement for branded promotional items, 2 laptops, and a website video to Executive Decision for just over $6,000. And finally, the book artist was reimbursed for a company brochure of $1,000. That leaves us with an ending balance for small business grants of $461,875. And then the final initiative account, we had, we made a payment to LifeNet for a lease assumption incentive grant. They received $11,576 per month. They requested all of those for the entire year at one time, which was a payment of $138,911. And they have the total possible reimbursement is $250,000. That leaves us with an ending balance in that account of $394,968. And then the final account is the EDIP appropriations account. There was no activity during October, but the appropriations carried forward from last month were $12,166,585. The amount for EDIP Part A encumbered on October 31st was $5,623,134. And then the amount encumbered under EDIP Part B is just over $1 million. There's no activity for either of those. That leaves us with an EDIP grant funds available for future award on October 31st of $5,542,781. Any questions?
Very thorough.
Yeah.
Any questions for Howie?
All right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Howie.
No problem.
Next item on the agenda is regional updates. We've got a Hampton Roads Alliance playbook overview. Steve Harrison. Good morning, Steve.
Good to see you.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Nice to be back.
For those of you who don't know, Steve used to be with us in economic development.
For 7 years. Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Harrison. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Hampton Roads Alliance, and it's a pleasure to be here to talk about the Hampton Roads Playbook. I know quite a few of you were at our launch event that you all co-hosted with us at the Sandler Center a few weeks ago. But if you missed it, I want to sort of run you through what the playbook is and then talk a little bit about what that means for Virginia Beach. And so the playbook is really born out of this idea that post-COVID, the economy has fundamentally changed. So we worked with a fellow named Bruce Katz. If you're familiar with him, he's formerly with the Brookings Institution. He's an urban economic strategist out of Drexel University. He does a lot of work with MIT. And he kind of posits that post-COVID, there have been these disruptive forces that changed the way that the global economy is functioning now. And that is based on these global tensions that are leading to increased militarization, to, of course, the change in the supply chain that we all saw sort of with the disruptions in the supply chain from COVID, the federal changes that are taking place, the technological innovation and the speed at which AI and things like that are developing, which is then leading to the exponential increase in the need for energy. All of those things are sort of wrapping around the idea that America needs to reshore, remilitarize, and re-energize. And so if you think about those three things, and then sort of what is Hampton Roads' position within that new economy, we feel like this is our moment. And so if you look at Hampton Roads, it has a variety of assets that sort of support this new economy. We are 15 diverse communities, home to 19 military installations. It's funny, Bruce Katz said that with other regions he's worked with, he said if they had one of your military installations, they would build their whole economic development strategy around it. You all have 19. It's almost an embarrassment of riches that we have so much we don't even know to some extent what we have. We have the world's largest naval base. We have 25% of America's shipbuilding and repair capacity here in Hampton Roads. We have the highest concentration of active duty military outside of the Pentagon. We have the deepest, widest, fastest growing port on the East Coast. We are NATO's North American headquarters. We have 2 federal research labs, Jefferson Lab and NASA Langley. We have 33 colleges and universities, 3 Fortune 500 company headquarters, and almost 200 international companies that are located here. And you all do a great job of bringing additional international companies through your incubator and your work in particular in Europe. And so all of that sort of leads to the notion that we are really well positioned within this new economic order. And I think the thing that separates us the most from other regions, honestly, is federal spending. And if you look at how much federal spending takes place here in Hampton Roads, we punch well above our weight. We're the 37th largest metro, but we're the 5th largest metro for DoD spend. And one of the things that when we looked at it from a regional level, you often sort of think about federal spending and defense dollars is going to the Newport News Shipbuilding and Norfolk Naval Station, but the plurality of federal spending actually is sent here to Virginia Beach. About 31% of those dollars come to Virginia Beach itself. A lot of that is ADS, and ADS is a huge driver in the DoD ecosystem. And so I think it's much more diverse than people think, but it's extremely important and is a differentiating factor for us. There are also other industries that we're seeing a lot of rapid growth within the region, and that in particular is energy, not only the offshore wind developments that we've seen, and I think in a lot of ways we can sort of declare victory on making Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads an offshore wind sort of center of excellence. There's been so much movement in that industry, but also you have heard probably a lot and are probably involved to some extent in this idea of these small modular nuclear reactors being the next wave of energy generation. And Hampton Roads has a very mature nuclear ecosystem, so I think as that develops, we're really well positioned to capture some of that investment. On the aerospace side, NASA Langley is just a treasure trove of R&D that they are looking to sort of partner with private enterprise and get that into the stream of commerce. And so between that and our various uncrewed aerospace companies, there's a lot of momentum there. And then logistics, of course, continues to be sort of the bread and butter of the region, with the Port of Virginia continuing to expand and to hit record numbers pretty much every month. So all of that sort of leads us to what we call the DEAL framework: defense, energy, aerospace, logistics. It's nice and easy to remember as well. And really, one of the things that people, I think, have criticized us for as a region is the idea that we have all of these sort of disparate assets, but it really is sort of a constellation of innovation is what we've discovered. And so I actually have some posters that I've left in the back that if you'd like one, would love for you to take one. But it's this idea of sort of mapping out the ecosystem in each of these 4 industries. And so if you look at defense, energy, and coastal Virginia offshore wind, V&G's Atlantic Treatment Plant right here in Virginia Beach, and the Secure Energy Future Center in Newport News. There's so much momentum that's taking place and connective tissue between these various assets. In aerospace, of course, NASA Langley and NASA Wallops is not in Hampton Roads, but the activity that's taking place at NASA Wallops, a lot of that could drive economic activity down here because there's almost not a region attached to a lot of that investment. And that has Rocket Lab and SpaceX and a lot of these next-gen companies investing in Virginia. And then logistics, of course, whether it's ZIM or CMA, there's tremendous investment not only on the port side, but also on economic development investment. And so all of that leads to the framework of the playbook, which is essentially doubling down in these 4 deal industries, defense, energy, aerospace, and logistics, by enhancing what we call cross-cutting growth drivers, which are things that are needed to sort of enhance our position within those 4 ecosystems. And that is workforce, the innovation and technology in those industries, the sites. The number one reason that Virginia loses projects, as you all know, is we do not have enough business-ready sites. And it is critical that we get more sites online. We, all of these major projects that you've seen go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, looked at Virginia and then likely couldn't select us because we didn't have a site that was big enough or ready enough. And so it's critical that in conjunction with this, we ready sites and the supply chain associated with that. And really what we sort of mean by that is, Hampton Roads knows how to build large-scale very complex things, whether it's an aircraft carrier or a submarine. We build things that matter, but we're not as involved in sort of the beginning parts of the supply chain, the R&D, the technological innovation, and that's where a lot of professional services jobs take place. That's where a lot of the money is, and so we want to diversify Hampton Roads' position within the supply chain or the value chain, if you will. And so the playbook really is sort of proactive economic development. It's not the idea of sort of waiting for a company to come to us and then working with them to find the right fit. We are creating projects that have a tangible economic impact, and then we'll be measuring that and reporting that out. And so in the first iteration of the playbook, 8 projects have really sort of come to the fore. The AUKUS Center of Excellence, if you're familiar with AUKUS, the Australia, UK, US trilateral agreement, is going to be hosted at William & Mary, and William & Mary actually has really, of course, really deep ties to the United Kingdom, but also to Australia, and have already been sort of working in this space, and so they volunteered to create a Center of Excellence, and they're going to host AUKUS summits at William & Mary, and so I think there's going to be tremendous opportunities there to get UK companies and Australian companies to locate here alongside our defense giants. The Secure Energy Future Center is from Virginia Tech, and so I think that's one of the cool things about the playbook as well, is that our universities are really engaged in this and creating economic development opportunities within Hampton Roads. The Secure Energy Future Center is a sort of test bed for next generation energy innovation, and so that's going to take place at the Tech Research Center Park in Newport News. Nexus, which my colleague Drew Lumpkin from the Hampton Roads Executive Roundtable, his organization is spearheading that, and that is understanding the amazing assets we have in the uncrewed system space, sort of centered around NASA Langley, but certainly not only NASA Langley, and building on those. We're looking at the idea of a beyond visual line of sight drone test range and things like that. The Elizabeth River dredging, if you think about the sort of eastern branch of the Elizabeth River and where Kalana's shipyard is, and there needs to be the ability to bring more ships down to the eastern branch, because that will help the Navy's capacity issues, and it'll also create additional sites that we can leverage. The Hampton Roads Ambassador Corps is really the idea that one of our greatest assets is the fact that we have hundreds of thousands of veterans in Hampton Roads that have amazing contacts, amazing experience that they could leverage to help us recruit additional companies. And so Admiral Chip Brock actually stepped forward and said, I'd like to convene a group of my fellow veterans to look at economic opportunities that we can help. And he's actually come on prospect visits with us, and it really is a game changer to have someone who's been there, who already has a lot of these connections, and can sort of leverage those for the region. The 757 CoLab Defense Technology Accelerator is kind of the beginning stages of DoD, and that is helping companies, entrepreneurs, innovators understand the DoD ecosystem and how they can become a supplier to the military, and then just creating additional technologies that can pair up with the larger defense contractors here, whether it's Huntington Ingalls or ADS or really anyone. And then the final two, Hampton Roads Maritime Training System and Defense Efficiency and Production Center, are both looking at the workforce, and in particular sort of our maritime industrial base, and how do we strengthen that by, the need for welders is intense and has to be increased in order for us to meet not only the needs of these future companies, but existing companies like HII. And so we've really got to sort of increase the amount of people that are going into this pipeline. Each of these projects has a project lead. And so as you can see, whether it's Catherine Floyd from William & Mary, you've got David White from VMA, as I mentioned, Rear Admiral Chip Rock, Sean Avery from the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, but these individuals are creating a steering committee as well, where they will discuss the state of their project and sort of what's next for these. On our website, hamptonroadsplaybook.com, there are videos from these individuals that they explain the project in more detail, and there's white papers associated with these projects as well. And so these are the first 8, but we certainly hope that they aren't the last. The idea behind the playbook is that these projects will grow and mature and sort of have a completion date, and then additional projects will follow behind them. And so that sort of leads to what is next for the playbook. And one of the things that I think you'll notice in the executive summary that we have copies for you is that the deal framework is the beginning of the conversation. It's not meant to be the end. And so we recognize that while defense, energy, aerospace, and logistics are tremendously important industries for Hampton Roads, there are additional industries and additional growth drivers that are not addressed in this first wave. And so if you think about, of course, healthcare and bioscience that you all are a leader in, tourism, a lot of these things could utilize the framework of the playbook and build projects. But what we're sort of looking for is volunteers to lead these projects and sort of bring them to the table. And then also, housing availability and affordability and things like that, growth drivers that we see as impediments to economic development deals that we would like to continue enhancing. And so any project can be brought to sort of the playbook steering committee if it supports these 4 criteria, which it's got to support the local economy, of course. There has to be measurable performance indicators so that there's sort of a definitive way to measure the success. There needs to be a regional group or sponsor that can help staff it and really get it off the ground. And then there has to be a defined capital stack or a way essentially to pay for it. And so with all of those things, we're really hopeful that this will continue to evolve. We'll probably do this playbook event on an annual basis and continue to expand it. But I would invite you to go to hamptonroadsplaybook.com where you can find all of this information. We also have a regional asset map, which we think is the first of its kind, which the idea behind that is we've tried to map all of those sort of constellation of innovation assets for the industries with sites and everything and put it onto one map, as well as videos, these posters that I mentioned. And then the executive summary is part of a broader, much larger playbook that we didn't print because we thought people probably wouldn't want to read hundreds of pages of data, but it is there if you're interested. As well as we are working on what we're calling a defense capabilities matrix, which is mapping out our DoD contractors and the various sort of facets of the DoD ecosystem that they play in, and then allowing that to be sort of a marketing tool to say, if you're looking to work with these companies, here are the various things they can help you with. And so as I mentioned, we would love for you to grab these posters, which are in the back, and then you've got a playbook at your place. But the next phase of this is really going to be taking it from the sort of regional look to a local look as well. And so we're going to work with your team here. Michael Evans, our Director of Business Intelligence, and I are going to come and meet with your team, and we're going to create a Virginia Beach chapter of the playbook. And so each community is going to have its own assets and the deal framework as a baseline, but maybe not the end. And so we were originally going to sort of write individual chapters for every locality as part of the rollout, but thought it made more sense to write it, of course, in conjunction with you. So we'll be doing that over the next couple of months with the goal to roll that out to you all probably in the first half of 2026. But we're very excited about the playbook. We would welcome your input and feedback and participation. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but thank you all again for your sponsorship of the Playbook event. It was the largest event the Alliance has ever had. We had about 600 people in attendance, and so it was really exciting, and I think we've seen a lot of momentum since then.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, it was a tremendous event and a whole lot of positive energy.
It really was.
Very, it was packed in there. Any comments, any questions? Thank you for highlighting the need for more shovel-ready sites. That's something that we're struggling with and hoping to resolve in the future as we look to expand Innovation Park and some of our other parks.
Absolutely, and I think that EV-RIFA, Eastern Virginia Regional Industrial Facility Authority, is a potential tool in that tool belt. And so we'd love, and Amanda is the treasurer of EV-RIFA, so we'd love to continue to work with you all as we look to create additional projects there, because that's another way for you to leverage funding from outside sources.
Wonderful, thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing with that. Next item on the agenda is the Hampton Roads Regional Talent Initiative, and we've got Drew Lumpkin here. And is it Lauren Roberts? Yes. Okay, sorry.
Hi, my name is Drew Lumpkin. I'm Vice President at the Hampton Roads Executive Roundtable. If you go back, you don't have to, but if you go back to one of the slides that Steve said, he had those growth drivers in there and places that weren't included in the playbook but that could be considered in the future one. The bottom one that he had was regional branding. Well, we're beginning an initiative that we think sort of points directionally at that. And I wanted to tell you a little bit of background before Lauren walks you through it. In 2024, the Hampton Roads Roundtable and the Workforce Council commissioned a study, contracted Fahrenheit advisors to see who and why our talent is leaving the region. We've long documented and bemoaned the fact that our best and our brightest, we educate them and then they leave. But this study that we commissioned actually then told us the who and the why. Lauren will go into a little bit more detail, but just real quick, the reasons that people are leaving are perception-based issues, especially around the cost of living, crime and safety, job opportunities, and access to quality health care. So concurrently at the same time, VDP commissioned a statewide study with DCI, and they came up with the exact same reasons. People are leaving Virginia for these bread and butter issues. So knowledge without action is just mere trivia. So we put together a working group to actually try to overcome some of these challenges. And we reached back out to VDP earlier this year and said, hey, we saw that you had this study. Do you have any money that could then help us sort of start combating these challenges? And they were able to scrounge up a little bit of money and create 2 pilot projects around Virginia. One here in Hampton Roads, which Lauren's going to talk about, and one in Roanoke. And with that, I'm just going to hand it to her because she's got a lot of the data and details.
Good morning, my name is Lauren Roberts Carter. I serve as the Vice President of Marketing Communications for the Hampton Roads Chamber, one of the lead organizations on this project. I'm going to go fast because I know time is limited. We're going to share about a year worth of information and work in about 10 minutes here, so bear with me, and then happy to answer questions and do follow-ups with anyone. So as Drew said, this is a regional marketing initiative with a focus on talent, and it's based out of that Fahrenheit study that showed us that we are losing people to other competitive areas, states, and cities. As you know, we do not have a regional marketing initiative for Hampton Roads, so this is really the first opportunity to have a regional marketing initiative, again with the focus being on talent. So we want to attract and retain our top talent here in Hampton Roads. And we have a lot of strategies to do it. And we are excited to share, you are the first group that's going to actually see some data on what this initiative has been able to do in 5 months, which is pretty exciting. So again, as Drew mentioned, it started with the Fahrenheit study. Here's just a couple quick pieces of data from that Fahrenheit study. We have the entire study and we're happy to share it with anyone who really loves the data like we do. But it really assessed who was moving to Hampton Roads and who was leaving Hampton Roads. And so unsurprisingly, folks that are real champions to Hampton Roads are people that have come here potentially from other areas and they've started their family here, they've started careers here, they've put down roots. They are our Hampton Roads cheerleaders. They are a target audience, of course, for us to retain here to Hampton Roads. We're also looking at trying to attract what we call our boomerangs back. Our boomerangs are people that have potentially grown up here. Maybe they went to college in another area and we want to bring them back here to start their careers. So there's several target market groups that we'll look at here in just a moment. Drew kind of covered our top factors that are leading to our out-migration. And I really look at these as perspective-based. So when you think of cost of living, that's very based off your perception. If you're coming from California or DC, you probably think that Hampton Roads is pretty affordable. I actually came from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which was just named one of the more affordable cities in the entire country. So it's a little more expensive to me, excuse me. So depending on where you come from, your perceptions based off cost of living are kind of tweaked to that. But we are able to paint the narrative and control the narrative of what this looks like. And that's something that we've been doing for the last 5 months. So again, as Drew mentioned, here are some of the summary of the Fahrenheit study. The younger non-military remote workers, those are folks that are more likely to leave. But those boomerangs, those people that have put down roots, those people are more likely to stay. And we want to keep them here, of course. You have a one-pager at your seat, and please, when you have a moment, scan the QR code. It will take you to our landing page. It is a landing page, meaning it is not a full-blown website. That is intentional. We, on that landing page, connect to many other websites throughout the region of regional organizations, regional projects, and initiatives. And so when you have a moment, please explore that landing page a little bit. We're not going to do it with you today for the sake of time. But here's 3 of our core campaign audiences. These next few slides have been done in conjunction with DCI. They are the Marketing and Talent Economic Development marketing agency that VEDP chose to work through with this project. And so, of course, we're targeting job seekers, folks that are in our target market industries, which we'll talk about in a few moments. Our quality of life chasers, this is one of my personal favorites. We have everything in Hampton Roads. In my personal opinion, the thing that we do not have here is an ability to tell that story far and wide from a regional perspective. Again, we have the beach, we have cities, we have rural life for those that like that. We have industries, we are close to DC, we have the mountains, and I could go on and on about what we have here. And so we're finally starting to collectively tell that story far and wide to those target markets. And then, of course, our veterans. A huge part of this project is making sure that we are keeping our veterans here. We do not want them to go back to wherever home initially was. We want to retain their talent here. We know when we retain their talent here, we retain their families, we retain their children in our public schools or our private schools. We have to be doing that. A couple of the target markets, again, this was done through DCI with their target market exercise. These are some of the top states and, of course, DC that they are targeting through this, and we're going to show you a few areas in our data where we are finding that people are finding this Start in Hampton Roads initiative.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? So, am I going back? So part of our paid media is we are blasting, and Lauren's going to show you what we're blasting to people, but we are intentionally focusing on these markets here. And people in these markets are seeing ads here to Virginia. And Virginia Beach is really a beneficiary of this.
You're going to see that in a moment. I think you'll like it. Again, we're using Google Display, we're using Meta, and we're using LinkedIn to do this through DCI. We'll show you that data here in just a moment. These are 4 of 30 plus media samples that we have worked on with DCI. Again, as you can see in those images, we're capitalizing on our quality of life, our assets, as Steve said. We really need to make sure that we are touting that as much as we possibly can. You see veterans there, and of course, beautiful coastline. So timeline, this started in August. So the data I'm gonna show you started August 1. We're actually approaching our end of our pilot program here in just a little bit, but we're excited because we then as a region can really take this initiative and we can turn this into the next stage of what it's going to be. So there's a lot more information coming on what that's going to look like as this ends in December through our pilot with VEDP. So of course, ways to support, please again, scan that QR, get involved with checking out the landing page. If you're able to embed it in any newsletter or anything that you all are doing, we would absolutely love to see that. And then here's really the meat of what we wanted to talk about. Again, you are the first group that actually is going to get to see this data publicly. And so what you're looking at here is data from August 1 through November 12th. So one thing we wanted to make sure we tell you here is this is on little money. What numbers you're seeing right here? $9,000. So $9,000 is a drop in the bucket when we're talking about marketing dollars. So for $9,000, we have been able to reach 1.574 million people with impressions. So those are eyeballs that are seeing the Start in Hampton Roads initiative, those landing pages. If you work down the funnel, we have over 20,000 folks that actually came through via session. Those are our visitors. From there, then we have our folks that actually engaged with 5 minutes, which 5 minutes is a lot of time. I've been joking and saying this, that like I spend 5 minutes when I'm shopping, but I don't spend 5 minutes on most websites. So 5 minutes is quite a long time for someone to spend on a page. It really means they were digging into what we have. And then actually this 807 number is about 900 now. We're increasing every single day. 900 people in the first 5 months have come to our contact form, which is at the very bottom of the landing page. They've signed up for our newsletter, basically saying, I'm interested in Hampton Roads and calling Hampton Roads home. We are able to take that data and we're able to sort it based off whether they're a student, whether they are a veteran, what industries they're in, and what cities they are coming from. So that is a down the road, we're able to take those leads and able to plug them into some of what Steve was talking about with Deal and where they may fit as far as industry-wise.
Remember, this is just a landing page. It is not a full-blown website. There is not another tab or a menu or anything. It's one page. So to have 5-minute engagements on just one page is pretty impressive. And then we're turning that into actual leads and data.
What you're seeing here are our ad performances. There's that $9,000 cost and some of what we were able to get with that. Also our top performing ad groups. I don't think this is surprising, but I think this is important to say. Our top industries there, cybersecurity, energy, engineering, healthcare, maritime. No surprises. But again, it reiterates everything that we're doing with the playbook and everything that we're doing with this initiative. We know we have the right market. We just need to get these people here. And so how are we doing that? We're telling our story finally again as one collective region. Something to point out here, a couple things to point out here actually. So top performing metros, if you look at that very top box, those are some of the target markets that we have been performing very well over the last couple months in. So New York, LA, DC, San Francisco, Baltimore, and Philly. One of the things that we can absolutely consider there is cost of living in those cities, and looking at the industries that they have in those cities and what we have here to offer, and being able to capitalize on bringing some of those people here for different types of jobs. And then we really hope you're excited to see the second item here under keywords, jobs in Virginia Beach. So these are top performing keywords. These are keywords that people are searching for after going to our Start in Hampton Roads landing page. They've gone to that page, they've spent any amount of time on it, they then have searched and were able through their cookies basically to be able to track what they have searched for, and they're coming back and they're searching for jobs in Virginia Beach. So right there is telling us we have reached that target market, they are interested, they are leads for us, and now we're looking at how can we capitalize on those leads and actually get some of those people here. Anything, Drew?
It's on that slide, it's fascinating that the top 2 places that people are looking from are New York and Los Angeles.
Remember, we targeted those places specifically because we thought they had a lot in common with us. And she doesn't have this slide, but the quality, the cost of living, and the quality of life is really what is drawing people. She had a few of those slides before. The highest performing ones really talked about our cost of living, our culture, our beaches, and our recreation, hence probably why you guys are the number 2 driver here. They are literally searching for you after they see our stuff regionally.
That's great.
And then one more for you here. Again, I think this tells a really compelling story. We're engaging with some really top companies. And if you look at that first column screams tech to me. As we develop our tech industry here in Hampton Roads, we're seeing folks from Google, Meta, Apple, and Amazon Web Services searching our area. Why, in my opinion? Because of our quality of life. Because we are a growing tech hub, an innovation region. So again, we're putting our content in front of these people, and you can look at their impressions. They are seeing it, and they are engaging.
And on the right-hand side, look, software engineer, project engineer are the top LinkedIn jobs that are searching for our region, that are engaging our region.
So again, as Drew said, this is just a snippet of several pages of data we have. It goes into great detail about who we're targeting. This also doesn't even show all of the folks that are joining our newsletter list and really engaging with us in that capacity. So again, this is just a snapshot of what we've been able to do with very little funding.
Very little funding.
And so it certainly enthuses us to what we're able to do here in the future. So again, as I mentioned, this is a truly regional effort. We greatly appreciate your time, your buy-in, your support of this. Our true goal is, again, to attract and retain talent, but we truly see this being able to move down the road into a true marketing of the region as Hampton Roads in the future. So we're very excited.
Thank you. Oh, question. Yeah.
Yeah, just a question. First of all, great work, sorely needed, definitely. What are the future funding sources, and what type of budgets are we talking in the future?
So this funding runs out in December from VDP. They only had enough money to really do a year-long pilot project for the state and then for us in Roanoke. And we got very little of that money, but we're thankful, especially for that money, especially for the data that we derived from it. So at the beginning of the new year, we have nothing. All of that talent attraction that we've done to drive these metrics will go dark. One of the things, we're thinking of a few ways to start filling this gap to turn the lights back on and then really blow this up into a full-blown website and stuff like that. Well, we're thinking about putting something in the General Assembly for a little bit. Obviously, the General Assembly, that money then would start July. There's Go Virginia grants. Other regions have done similar job portals to this, so maybe we can layer on creating some of the retention of the region to this and use the state for maybe the attraction. Cities and businesses, we're probably gonna, once we sort of see where our funding comes from those two sources, we're probably gonna have to come to cities and businesses to help really boost this up if we really want a website that is helpful for our people here and then attracting. That's gonna be in a couple million.
One thing we'll share with you really briefly is there's been a lot of private interest from private companies in potentially putting together something like a job board that is far more open than some of like these one-to-one matches that we have in the region, which is great for specific types of jobs and employers, but something that's a little bit more open and broad and that any company can post their jobs to. So there's some private opportunity there, both from a funding stream and for that opportunity specifically.
On our landing page, we did have a link to the Workforce Council, but the Workforce Council, and I say this with a lot of respect, they're more a concierge service. They're really walking you and finding the perfect job for you. But we as a region don't have any sort of Indeed, something low touch. We can tell you we have people clicking through 5 minutes at a time, but we don't have a regional job board to actually connect that interest to at least those jobs. So part of what we need to do is say, okay, we have all these software engineers from Google, Meta, that are interested in our region. what are we doing to then actually use those as leads and try to actually attract them here? That's where we want to get, and,
Stage 2.
yeah.
Great job, Drew. Good to see you again. All of my friends from college that are from the area have left Hampton Roads to go to those cities that you all are targeting. And I guess a follow-up to what you just mentioned, I know there's interest to move back or move to Hampton Roads, but are those high-paying jobs available?
Yeah, good question. So we've had done this very similar presentation with our Hampton Roads Caucus, and one of the things that we're making sure that we're saying out loud to the region is we have to also be poised to have those high-paying jobs from that perspective to be able to bring some of that talent back here. So the Google and the Meta and the Amazon Web Services, some of what we're seeing with that are those are remote folks. They can work for those companies anywhere that they want, and then they can live here. And so we know that that's an issue. Will this initiative specifically solve that problem? Probably not, at least not right now. But we're having those conversations certainly with our elected officials, saying that we need to look at what our salaries are here as compared to our cost of living, as compared to the talent that we're trying to attract.
And a different point that you made, the boomerangers, you know, people left here thinking the grass was greener on the other side, the cost of living, but then once there, they're realizing, no, the life here is better. That's the boomerangers, and we're finding that boomerangers are very inclined to come back, and wherever they are the biggest cheerleaders. So they're the easiest talent market we can tap into. To whether you grew up here or were educated here, they are more inclined to come back here and then stay here.
And I think the jobs board really would be that next step. You know, we've got a position open for an attorney with, you know, a few years of experience in commercial real estate. And we've tried to cast a wide net to, you know, see if there's somebody outside the market. And it's been a challenge. I mean, it really has. And I just, you know, we've targeted law schools, the area, and a variety of sources. But I think if we had a job board or a portal where people could come looking for specific jobs and people could post specific jobs, I think the idea of an Indeed just for Hampton Roads, I think would be great.
We had a great conversation with our higher ed universities, our trade schools, our apprenticeship programs, and our community colleges about 2 months ago, where they said they want to, this is from the recruitment office, they want to put their students into the pipeline to get jobs here. But what they have to be able to understand are our largest industries, who is hiring, what those companies look like, what those salary pay scales are. And so there's opportunity here with our education institutions across the state to be able to really kind of put those students into a pipeline to come back to Hampton Roads or come to Hampton Roads. Absolutely. Thank you all.
Thank you. Any other questions? Lauren, Drew, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time. Next, we have a request for approval of annual services contract. Emily Archer will share that with us.
Good morning. Vice Mayor, Councilmember Remick, I did see him, and Chair Murphy, members of the board. So VBDA has an annual services contract, historically it always has, for engineering services. That current one in place expires end of this year, so starting in July, we issued a request for qualifications for a new civil engineering and architectural services. The little change this year is that we've noticed there's a lot more architectural services with our built assets in the past 5-10 years, so we've added more emphasis on architectural services as well. That was advertised for 60 days. We received proposals in September. We received 6 responses. A panel consisting of economic development staff, public works, stormwater, and public works facilities convened, shortlisted, and interviewed 3 of the respondents on November 3rd. And we are recommending that as the panel awarding the contract to VHB with Representative J.D. Hines as Senior Project Manager. This new contract will be for 4 years per Virginia procurement law for annual services. And it does include 2 architects on the contract itself, so Dills and HB, that we would have access to for the next 4 years. Any questions?
Great. Any questions for Emily? Yes, Akil.
Is BHB local?
Yes, they are right across the street. I mean, they're up and down the East Coast. With their headquarters, I believe, in Boston, but they are right across the street in town center.
Perfect, thanks.
Great. Any other questions? So, we've got to take action on the recommendation from the panel to award the annual services contract to VHB.
Approved.
Got a motion from Mr. Keplinger,
Second.
second from Mr. Dunn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we're deferring item number 8.
Number 8 will be deferred, okay. Then we'll skip to item number 9, request for approval of BMK Ventures proposed plan revision. Pam?
Good, let me try that again. Good morning, Vice Mayor, Madam Chair, members of the board. Today we're going to be talking about the BMK Ventures proposed site plan. Here is a look at the disclosures. So I know that you all are very familiar with this site. It's right inside of Corporate Landing, right next to the Miller property in Hayes, right off of Perimeter Parkway. So a little bit of history on this project. Back in August of 2022, there was an EDIP that was awarded. And then a couple months later in November, the elevations were approved for construction. And what you're seeing here is the first approved construction designs. Previously, this site only had one building with 62 parking spaces on it. And now this location that is on this 4.7 acre site, it is going to be broken up into 2 buildings. There's going to be an increase to 119 parking spaces. The increase in parking spaces is to accommodate groundworks. That was just awarded an EDIP last month. And here's a look at the new elevations. This is going to be the front of the building that faces Perimeter Parkway. So the material that they're going to be using is going to be metal on the roof and on the front of the structure. At the bottom, you see that slate gray color, that's going to be the CMU. And then the south elevation that faces the pond, west elevation, this is the side that's going to be facing the Miller Group parcel, and the east elevation that faces Pace. So the recommendation today, the materials that are proposed, it meets the Corporate Landing criteria for design. Construction is expected to begin in December. We are recommending approval. The only thing that I will say in transparency, the only thing you didn't see were the signs. Those are still in the creative design phase. So we will be presenting the signs for your approval hopefully next month once everybody on their side has come to an agreement of how they want the signs designed. Any questions?
Any questions for Pam? All right, then I will entertain a motion on the request. I've got a motion for Mr. Weissensteele.
Second.
Second for Mr. Meeks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Next item is a request for resolution authorizing the sale of 4 acres. And that is, doesn't say, but it looks like Eson. Good morning.
Good morning, Vice Mayor, Madam Chair, Council, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to present the GOV solution for a land sale and an EDIP request. If you look at the disclosures. And I'm sorry, before I get started, I would like to acknowledge Donna Long, the President of GOV Solutions. She's here and joining us.
And I'd just like to thank the City of Virginia Beach and BDDA for their support of small business development. They were instrumental in assisting Gov Solutions in establishing our headquarters in Virginia Beach. And now, presenting to you the potential of the land purchase and EDIP grant for a manufacturing facility that has been in the works and planning to bring some manufacturing back to the United States. Office furniture is what we do. And a
I
special-
should have you come up to the front. Yeah, do you mind going up where Isan
You want me to
is?
go up there?
Yeah, that way. See what you swear in.
The microphone too.
Yeah, that way everybody can hear.
That way you can hear me?
Yes.
I'm not projecting.
And the people on the here can see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Realize you were here? Hi.
Good to see you. My name is Donna Long. I'm the president of Gov Solutions. We've been in business in Virginia Beach since 2004. And I just wanted to say thank you to the City of Virginia Beach and VBDA for their support of small business development. I think that Virginia Beach is a wonderful place to start and grow a business. My personal experience, when we built our headquarters building, Virginia Beach stepped up to the plate and VBDA to assist us in expanding that 10 years ago, and now expanding to manufacturing and continuing to grow Gov Solutions brand, and, assisting with, hopefully new personnel and keeping veterans and others here in Virginia Beach instead of leaving. So, anyway, Isan has been instrumental in helping Gov Solutions get through this process for the land purchase as well as the EDIP grant opportunity, and I look forward to the results after the presentation.
Wonderful,
I'd like to say Donna has done a fantastic job with growing this business right here in her hometown, and we really appreciate you, Donna.
Thank you, and I appreciate you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You stole some of Isan's thunder though, I think.
Okay, so basically we'll be discussing the land sale of approximately 4 acres in Corporate Landing Business Park and an EDIP request based on capital investment and the creation of new jobs. So a little bit about the company. Gov Solution is V3 certified, so the Virginia Values Veteran Certification. Women Business Enterprise, those are federal designations. Small Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business and SWEM Certified Company. They've been in business for more than 20 years and basically help shape the office design industry. They do full turnkey solutions for their clients. Basically anything that has to do with interior space planning, design and specs, detailed project management, product inventory, asset relocation management, installation and construction. They currently employ 26 people and they always prioritize veterans and hub zones, residents from hub zones areas. Currently they're, the next slide. So they're currently located in SeaTac on Bird Neck Road, and they also lease a 10,000 square foot warehouse in Chesapeake, which lease will expire in November of next year. So they are interested in purchasing the 4 acres designated in the rendering map to construct a 30,000 square foot warehouse for manufacturing. This facility will basically serve the foundation for manufacturing their brand of dorm and residence hall furniture. At present, the raw laminates is sourced from the US, shipped to Colombia for fabrication, then returned to Gov Solution. So by establishing basically this domestic manufacturing, they can streamline the process, eliminating efficiencies, reducing transportation costs, and ensuring faster delivery to clients. So for the EDIP request, we're looking at a total investment of $4,650,000, 800,000 for the, sorry, it's supposed to be a comma. It's not 800, it's 800,000 for the land acquisition, 3 million for building construction, 400,000 for machinery and tools, and 250,000 for their FF&E. They're basically creating 55 new jobs with an average annual salary of $49,772, and so we're only incentivizing 5 jobs. One is tier 2, and 4 jobs are tier 1. So we recommend the approval of the sale of land and the award of $193,000 pursuant to EDIP Part A, $186,000 for capital investment for the majority of the grant, and $7,000 for job creation.
Isan, can you go back one slide? I just want to make sure everybody's clear. So the important part of the slide is the bottom. So the jobs that we're incentivizing are in the 125,000 and 72 to 93,000 range. So just want to highlight that for everybody. And we're so thrilled that this business that's local is growing and expanding here. We really are. All right, any questions?
And we no longer be in Chesapeake.
You said it. I can't say that out loud. All right. Any question? For Isan. All right. Well, then I will entertain a motion on the request. I think we have to vote on these separately. So the first would be the resolution authorizing the sale of 4 acres and corporate landing to Gov Solutions, Inc.
So moved.
Got a motion for Mr. Weiner?
Second.
Second for Mr. Keplinger. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say sign. That motion carries. Second is the resolution approving an EDIP Part A award of $193,000 to Gov Solutions. Make a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Weiner?
Second.
And a second, Mr. Keplinger. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Thank you again for coming and for your being in our city. All right, next we have administrative information. I just want to welcome Michael Harris. Michael is here. He's our newest Development Authority member, and he comes to us from Lynn Haven Mall. He's the senior manager. Would you like to
I would. Madam Chair,
introduce yourself?
authority members, Vice Mayor Remick. I am thankful for the opportunity to serve on this board. I am a native Virginia Beach, have 2 daughters that have gone through the public schools, and look forward to contributing.
Wonderful, thank you. We're happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
Any other comments from authority members? Anything anybody want to share? All right, then we'll go to our director's report. Amanda, Jarrett is with us this morning. Should say Deputy City Manager Amanda Jarrett.
Good morning, Vice Mayor Wilson, Councilmember Remick, Madam Chair, members of the commission. A few updates for you this morning. Our team has been very busy over the last month, so I'll just hit a few highlights because I know we have some more items to discuss later today. I wanted to let you know that our workforce team is very engaged with Centerra. You may have seen in the headlines that they are experiencing a number of layoffs, and so we are very plugged in with their leadership and their employees. We're working with their team to host a job fair so that those individuals that are experiencing layoffs can find other opportunities in Virginia Beach or in Hampton Roads. A virtual hiring event will be held on November 19th for that team. With regards to acoustical sheet metal, again, from the workforce side, we've been collaborating with them to host a job fair. In mid-October, they held a very successful hiring event, drawing 175 job seekers, resulting in 92 job offers being made that day. So thank you to the team here and throughout the city for working with acoustical sheet metal. I'd also like to say thank you to Mr. Stiles, who worked with their legal team to facilitate the closing on the real estate yesterday. So we look forward to that investment, the construction of their facility, and continued growth in the city of Virginia Beach. Virginia Wesleyan continues to be an incredible partner for us. They are working with Bush, who recently celebrated their 50th anniversary in the city of Virginia Beach, to provide training for their new project managers. Thank you to those of you that were able to attend their anniversary celebration. It was really a wonderful event and an honor to have the family here. Mrs. Bush told some pretty incredible stories about her time here in the 80s. So it was a wonderful event, and thank you to those who could help us celebrate. The Hive continues to be incredibly active for our small business community. We are hosting a breakfast panel and networking event for veteran entrepreneurs at the Hive on November 20th at 8:30, and where veterans can connect with other business leaders throughout the city. Our attraction team continues to represent us across the country and internationally. Natalie just returned from a trip to Italy with Select USA, which was very beneficial, and then Paige is currently on a trip with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership as well. We did submit, as you were told, our first Brownfields grant, applied for $500,000 to assist with site remediation for a property in District 4. We're hopeful to receive notification of a reward at some point in December. And then lastly, staff had our biannual VBDA asset meeting a few weeks ago, just to make sure, as you've seen the number of growing assets we have with the dome and the 2 additional parking garages, making sure that we are on top of the maintenance of all of the VBDA assets. So that was a lot. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. And lastly, want to remind you, if you have not done so, to RSVP for the holiday party. We are very excited to host that at the Dome this year. So.
And that is Wednesday, December 10th from 5:30 to 7:30.
Any questions?
All right, yes, Councilman Remick.
Thank you. Can you give us an update on the Director of Economic Development, the search?
Absolutely. So we are using a national recruiting firm. They are in the process of developing a short list, and we anticipate conducting interviews before the end of the year.
I think I saw on LinkedIn where the job posting ended November 10th.
It did. So the
It
first
just
review
closed.
with the consultant is currently ongoing. There's a meeting to brief city leadership next week before Thanksgiving.
Wonderful. Looking forward to bringing somebody on board.
Absolutely. Me too.
So is she. Nobody more so than Amanda Jarrett. All
I
right.
do, though, want to compliment the 2 deputies who continue to daily support this department and all the efforts. It would not be possible without the 2 of them. So,
Thank you, Emily and Natalie. We know you guys are working extremely hard. All right. Anything else for the good of the group? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into a closed session pursuant to the exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711A Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. 1, contracts. Discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offers, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract for discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A30, and that's citywide. And then 2, prospective business or industry. Discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A5, and that pertains to District 5. We'll have a motion, a second, and then a roll call vote. Motion for Mr. Weisensteele.
Second.
Second from Penny Morgan, and then roll call.
William Brumke.
Yes.
Michael Harris.
Yes.
Donald Horsley.
Yes.
Phil Jen.
Yes.
Eric Keplinger.
Yes.
Ethel Meeks.
Yes.
Penny Morgan. Yes. Lisa Mercy.
Yes.
David Newman.
Yes.
Richard Woods.
Yes.
All right. We're green. All right. I think I'm going to wait for Kayla to come back. Ready to go? Yeah. All right, thank you. Certification of closed session. Whereas the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And Whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this Virginia Beach Development Authority that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the City of Virginia Beach, Virginia hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed session to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Virginia Beach Development Authority. I'll need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote.
Motion.
Motion for Mr. Weisenseal.
Second.
Second for Mr. Jan. Roll call?
William Brunke.
Yes.
Michael Harris.
Yes.
Donald Horsley.
Yes.
Phil John.
Yes.
Eric Keplinger.
Yes.
Edmund Meeks.
Yes.
Penny Morgan. Yes. Lisa Murphy.
Yes.
David Weiner.
Yes.
Spencer Weisenseal.
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned.
Nice to meet you.